Good morning. So, you are looking for your next great hire. GST, ATEC, service advisor, service manager. You've got the ads running out there, the phone's ringing off the hook, right? Yes. And you're wondering, okay, what do I ask these applicants over the phone or in person? I have for you some very unusual and very powerful questions that I've developed over the years of looking for talent for the auto repair industry. 15 years and counting I've been recruiting, and the Biosphere has been involved in recruiting the best and the brightest for auto repair shops. So let's talk about these questions and then how you can apply them and what they're designed to do. My number one thing I want is I don't want to throw an underhanded softball to applicants. I want to challenge their ability to think on their feet, to reason, quick-minded. How do they problem solve? How are they pushed a little bit in the interview process? All right, so question number one, applicant, tell me about your worst employer or worst coworker. Okay, this is, so you're thinking, well, how would I answer this, Johnny? There is one great way to answer this in 100 less than optimum ways. The number one way to answer this question is, I've loved everyone. Now, you and I know that's not true. An interview scenario is not about truth. It's not a place to completely just spill your guts about how you really feel and think about the world. Instead, an interview situation is designed to show you, does the applicant understand their role? The R, we coach on this. And so when an applicant says, hey, I've loved working with everyone, you know, everybody has their ups and downs, but I've really truly enjoyed working with everyone. That tells you that they understand how to play the game, their role. And it is a game. It's getting along with people at a high level and not bringing conflict into the workplace. The worst kind of answer is, well, let's see, starting in 91, that owner was, oh my God, he was bankrupting, he was running over people with his Prius. It was a terrible thing. The guy's a crook and I want him dead by midnight. That person who brings in their negativity into the interview process is inevitably going to bring that same negativity into your workplace once they are hired. You can't cure them. It's not your role to cure them. Your role is to bring in the best and the brightest with great attitudes. I love question number one. Number two, ask an applicant this. What do you say when a customer says, I can't afford it? So this is a service advisor applicant question, and it's after presenting the work, right? How do you respond when a customer tells you, I can't afford it? I love this question because it will tell me, first of all, how well does that applicant think on their feet? Are they quick-witted? Can they think through? Also, have they been through coaching? If you've been through the Biosphere coaching program, there's one way to answer this question, and that is, what can you afford, customer? Redirect, take control, build value. Now, I don't expect an applicant to respond in that way, but I do want a reasoned approach. I want them to think through it. I want them to justify how they will respond to that question or that statement, because customers are going to tell us that. It is inevitable. How are you going to respond? Great question to ask. Number three, if I put all of your coworkers, everybody you've ever worked with in your entire employment history into one room, jammed them all in there, and I asked them this, I would ask them, hey, I know everybody in here thinks Johnny's a great guy, but what does he need to work on? What's his but? Applicant, how do they respond? What would the consensus be from all the people you've ever worked with? I love this question. I love it because it's a little bit of a twist on the common question that we ask, which is, what do you think you need to work on? What do you need to get better at? And people will say, well, I think I probably work too hard, and I'm a workaholic, and pat answer, pat question. Turn it, twist it a little bit. What would the consensus be? Now, there's a whole variety of ways that people answer this question, but I think it will give you greater insight into how they see themselves over the history of their work history and experience and how others have perceived them. Many applicants might say, well, my coworkers would say, suggesting that they don't necessarily agree with the consensus, which is a whole nother thing. It's like, okay, is that kind of a yellow flag? Again, I think it's a great question, gives you a lot of insight, opens up conversation. Question number 4, tell me how you have been a hero at work and away from it. Tell me how you've been a hero. Now, that's a big word, hero. Huge. In the auto repair industry, it shouldn't take us very long to be able to answer that because we have the opportunity to be heroes every single day. Away from work in our personal lives, our interactions with our significant others, children, family, maybe opportunity to say, hey, yeah, you know what, I gave a homeless person some money once or whatever. Again, I like the question because it isn't just tell me about your good qualities. It delves deeper, drills down further. Try asking that question sometime. Question number 5, this is what I call the magic wand question. So I asked the applicant, hey, if you had a magic wand and you could be doing anything career-wise, any position, anything. There's no limitation based on location, education, money, anything. Your career could be exactly what you want it to be. You could build it. What would it be? So there are a lot of different responses you'll get to this. People aren't asked it. Again, like most of these questions, they're going to have to think about it. That's the idea. You want to hear, you want to smell the rubber burning. You want them to contemplate. Many times people will give you a pat answer after thinking about it. Well, you know, I'd really like to be a tech. Well, if I could be doing anything, I'd be working on cars. Oh, okay, I believe you. Is there something more profound than that? So I think you have a right to be suspicious of it's the thing that their dream job is basically exactly what they're there applying for. I'm not saying that maybe some people that's exactly what they want. What you're really listening for is people who have their dream job is completely void. It's completely disconnected from what they're applying for. I remember an employee once telling me something, and she said, I want to have my own dog kennel. This is a service advisor, and she wants to be running her own dog kennel and saving dogs, dog rescue. It was fundamentally clear from her answer that she wasn't going to be a long-term hire. And that's okay. You can have aspirations and dreams that have nothing to do with the career field. I just want to understand that if you don't want to be in the auto repair industry, why are you here? And that's a reasonable question to ask someone who sort of deviates and sort of says, I want to pilot a balloon and go around the world and get paid for it or something. Question number 6, you're on a boat. Applicant, you are on a boat, and on that boat is you and your customer, a customer, a coworker, and the owner of the auto repair shop. Okay, so shop owner, coworker, customer, and you are on a boat. You are the only one who knows how to swim. Applicant, boat overturns. Who will you save and why? So this kind of question is often asked outside of the scenario of a job interview, which is what makes it fun. People will say, have I heard a question like that before? It's the unwinnable scenario, like who do you save? I think people's response to this question provides a lot of insight. If people say, I'll save the customer, they may be responding to that because they think that's what you want to hear. Customer is always right, customer is number one. Okay, or maybe they believe in that because they have to justify the why they're responding with whatever their answer is. Someone who will save a coworker might be someone who's really about engaging social with being liked by coworkers, might be something that's super important to them. It doesn't mean that's the case, but it might be. It's possible. May open that up. If the applicant says, I would save the owner, then hire them immediately, on the spot. Hand them cash and say, can you start right now? Because that's the right answer. The owner is the most important customer that your employees and you serve. People who understand that fundamentally will achieve at a higher level than those who don't. That's the right answer. That's the right answer to that question. Last question. What is a reason you would not hire you if you owned this auto repair shop? You own this auto repair shop. What's a reason you wouldn't hire yourself? Love the question. It's kind of twisted. It forces the applicant into a very specific, through a keyhole. What's a reason you wouldn't hire yourself? Now, there are some good ways to answer that. There are some great ways to answer that. Fundamentally, you just want to get an idea what's in the applicant's head. How do they reason through it? How do they think through it? How would you answer that question? A reason I wouldn't hire myself, I can be very disorganized. I tend to be opinionated. So I'm talking about myself. Those of you who've worked with me say, okay, yeah, that's Johnny knows himself very well. So again, it opens up conversation, kind of cracks open the applicant's head. It gives you better insight into how they really think and feel. Those are just some examples of, I think, unusual and powerful questions. Try some of those the next time you're in an interview scenario with an applicant. Remember, you want to hire slow. Hire slow. Let's not talk about fire. Let's just talk about hire. Measure twice, cut once. The people you hire can help you build an auto repair shop beyond your wildest vision of success. They can also gut it, your dream. They can drag everyone down, and they can destroy what you've committed your life to. So hiring someone is a really big deal. Take the time to get to know them, evaluate them, and ask them lots and lots of questions in lots of different ways. That way, you'll hire the best and the brightest. You're more likely to do so. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear how you're using these questions in interview scenarios. And until next time, thank you for working with us at the Biosphere to build something better. See ya!